Flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, 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 living. You don't need to wait till you're underground. You need to receive them here and now. Flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers. Hello and welcome to Flowers While You're Living. I'm your host, Cheryl Thomas. And today I have a guest, Steve Ross, who works here at DATV. He graduated from Fairmont State College in Fairmont, West Virginia. Welcome, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great, Cheryl. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, I just want to ask you some questions. When did you start working, doing TV and things like that?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm a graduate of Fairmont State College in Fairmont, West Virginia. And when I graduated, I came to Dayton. I'm actually originally from Dayton, but we moved to West Virginia when I was a kid. After I graduated, I came back here and I started working at Channel 22. I got a job working there. So, and that was in 1982.
Wow.
So I've been doing all of this for over 40 years.
Okay, okay. So it must be something you enjoy doing it back then. Well, what did you do in college? Did you do any TV promotional things or anything?
I studied radio and TV communications.
Okay.
And so I really enjoyed it, and I was very fortunate when I came back here. I started, again, like I said, working at WKEF, and that was a lot of fun. I had a good time, and I'm very grateful to Joe Smith, who gave me my start in this business. Joe's one of the most talented people you'll find in this business. And Mike Thomas and Derek Wilson, Bob Thompson, those guys are the ones who prepared me for working at DATV. But when I started at 22, I was in production and started out as a production assistant, got to work on Shock Theater and all these locally produced programs at the time.
For those that don't know, Shock Theater was our horror movie.
It was a very
program.
popular, right, and hosted by Dr. Creep, and it was a long time running program, and I even got to play Duffy the dog a couple of times, who was his sidekick.
Right, right.
But I moved up there, started out as production assistant, and moved up to directing. So.
Okay, okay. So now, when you came to DATV, what did you do? What did you start off as?
Well, I came to DATV. I left Channel 22 and I was a director there and used to direct commercials and news and some local programs and those types of things. When I came to DATV, I was hired as the operations manager, and that was in 1989.
Oh, okay.
And that was actually across the street at DATV, and our entire facility at the time, Access 30 Dayton, which is one of the most well-known access centers in the country. And just to promote, we've been around 45 years now. But our entire facility was only 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
But people were doing amazing things at Access 30 Dayton at the time, and still do.
Okay, okay. So now, while you were here and you were at that position, what else did you do? Did you came back here and?
So I've been at Access 30 Dayton, DATV now for over 34 years.
Right.
And again, operations manager. So, one of the jobs that I do is I work with the public a lot.
Okay.
I do some workshops, assist them in making sure their shows are getting taken care of, make sure that they have the equipment to do a production at DATV. And for those who don't know what DATV is, it's the community TV station. For years known as public access.
Right.
But I think it's more endearing to say it's community television.
Okay.
It's a place for just regular folks where they have the ability to come in and make a difference in their community through freedom of speech and freedom of expression with this facility.
Right, okay.
And so, again, we were in a very small location across the street, and in 1991, 92, we moved into this facility, which is 10,000 square feet.
Okay.
And virtually the whole building is for the community.
Right, okay, okay. And you talk about people coming in to express themselves and do things like that. So like, in other words, you could be at home and be like, I think I'd like to have a show. I'd like to make a show doing something.
Yes.
And you don't stop people from, like you say, it's freedom of speech, things like that. You have a spiritual channel.
Yes.
And you have this channel here where you can do other things. So what is it that I can do? How do I get started?
Well, first of all, this is a very unique organization, and it's very exciting when people come in and they look around. And then they are strongly expressed upon that this is your TV station. So you can come in, anybody in the community can come in, learn how to use all this equipment to make shows for and about their community. And you're exactly right, we don't tell people what to make shows about.
Right.
Perfect example is this show here, where you interview people from all over the community and give them the opportunity to come on and talk about themselves.
Right.
And that's exactly what this organization has been doing for 45 years. We are the mouthpiece of the community. And it's not always bells and pretty bells and whistles
Right.
and all these fancy things. It's really about just giving people the opportunity to talk to their community through technology.
Right.
So it's as simple as just setting up a video camera. We'll teach you how to do that. And you tell people what's on your mind, and we air it.
Right.
You know, and we have very few restrictions, very few rules and regulations.
Right.
And we just try to be, we're like the library, but instead of giving you a book, we give you a camera.
Right. Right.
So go out and make a difference in the community. And I have been so blessed to be able to work here for over 34 years. The people that come into this organization are the most wonderful people that you will ever meet. And they're hardworking because it takes a little bit of work to do some of these
Right,
things.
exactly.
Not everybody wants to produce a show like you. Some people just want to help. So they help you.
Right.
And we teach them how to do that.
And actually, that's how I started. At first, I started coming to some of your classes to learn how to do things. Well, let me back up. I came in to take a look at your facilities, and I was amazed at what all you allow people to do on their own, you know, run a camera, direct a show, and things like that. Now, I took some of the classes on how to edit, how to be a producer, a director, and things like that. I ran cameras for the festivals that you have and stuff. I've directed some of the shows out there. And just like you said, people can come in and you can even take the equipment out and do a show. You know, you might have something out there or you want to make a movie, you know,
Yes.
things like that. That is really interesting. And if I have any problems, what do? I come and get you. I come and get one of the people that volunteers here to come and help me do something, you know. So you don't throw people out there to the wolves. You
Right.
you help people to do what it is they want to do. And I appreciate that with all of you because, like you say, this is a friendly family here, and everybody helps each other and things like that. Some of the other people that have a show might say, well, hey, I need somebody to produce my show. You know, then you'll call them and say, hey, somebody needs help with their show, which is great, you know. And if there's nobody, then, you know, you all will step in, which is good.
Right. You know, and I knew from an early age that I wanted to get into this type of thing, even when I was growing up in West Virginia. And I've just been so blessed through the opportunities that I was given at Channel 22 to be able to bring that over here.
Right.
And again, the members that come in here are just so wonderful because the staff is here. We're a small staff, but we are here to make sure that you have the knowledge and the equipment. But a lot of times, you know, we leave it up to the producer to try to get some help. And it's as easy as picking up a volunteer hotline sheet that we give them. And because there's people who are always willing to help behind the scenes. Again, I don't necessarily want to be in front of the camera. This is a great opportunity for me. I like working behind the scenes. So I would like to help somebody do a show. I'll direct the show, I'll run camera, those types of things. Those are fun, that's fun to me. And so the members are what has made this organization a great place to be. I was very fortunate, and it's because of the opportunities I was given. In 2022, I was inducted into the Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And I give all the thanks to the people that gave me opportunities at Channel 22 and the amazing people that I've met here at DATV and the opportunities I've had here. Because the one thing that we kind of glossed over a little bit is you're exactly right. You don't have to just stay in here and make a show. And also, you don't even have to use our equipment. If you have your own equipment, I've got a camcorder or whatever, you can use that and share it with the community. That's what it's all about. It's about sharing your ideas, your visions, and your freedom of expression with the community. One of the other things that we do, again, we are a very small staff. We rely 100% on our members to help us cover community events, like the African American Festival, the Celtic Festival. We just did the Dayton Air Show, meetings, meet the candidate forums. You know, most of the time we set the equipment up and then we rely 100% on the members who said, yeah, I'm gonna dedicate my entire Saturday and Sunday out at the Funk Festival, which is coming up. It's gonna be 90 degrees and that. But they spend their entire day running camera and directing and running audio because this is their version of making a difference in their community. And it's very important. People have to realize, you know, they fly by the channel and they see it and it's like, oh, there's that public access channel. But if they sit there and they look at it for a minute and they ask themselves, well, why is that here? How do I get involved? How do I make a difference? There's a lot of people who are at home and don't have the means to make it out to community events.
Exactly.
So it's not just about festivals, but it's, like I said, it's candidate forums, it's commission meetings, it's all these things that the other stations will spray for a minute on the late news and then you won't see it again. We give viewers at home the opportunity when we're out there, when we show these programs back, play them back, we play them over and over and over, so everybody gets an opportunity to watch it at some point. Something that goes along with that, and I give praise to our program director, Melissa Constantine, that, and this happens a lot too, you know, people will call me and they will say, you know, I missed that show that I was on, hosted by Cheryl Thomas. When's that going to be on again? And if Melissa says, well, it's on Fridays at 3 p.m. Well, I can't watch it until late. Oh, when do you think you want to watch it? She'll put the show on. If she can move an older show that we've played a bunch of times, she'll make room for it. Hey, you ought to invite your friends over to watch it. You know, and she'll come up with a day and a time. That's hard work. I mean, you have to maneuver things around and say, I'll air it then. And that's another way that, you know, we do our work in the community. We want to make all these shows as visible as possible. You know, the other thing that we do is that we stream both of our channels 24 hours a day. So we're seen worldwide. As you mentioned, and I appreciate that we also have DATV and we have Dayton Spiritual Television. Dayton Spiritual Television has over 70 churches making shows for that channel a week. Oh, a week.
That's
and most of those churches, they get 2 airings a week as far as that particular church service. streamed worldwide. On the other side of DATV, there are programs that we put on video on demand that we think people might want to just be able to go and pull down from our website.
Okay.
And sometimes they can watch those through that means too.
Right, okay. Well, now, also here at DATV, you have podcasts. And you have two different types of podcasts. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so, and I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, we decided that as an organization, you know, we need to expand our technological, you know, and start doing podcasting. So we set up an audio room, basically only, with microphones, an audio mixer, and the way to record it. And then we teach people how to edit their audio only programs and how to upload those to make podcasts. Well, eventually, a staff person, Eric Whiting, who is a really good production assistant.
Yes, he is.
We need another podcasting room. I'm also the engineer, so I'm the guy that has to wire all this stuff up. And it was like, ugh, all right, what are we doing?
Okay.
They said, well, why not use this room? So I took it a step further. Not only did we create another audio podcasting room, but we put cameras in there.
Okay.
So, and we give the producer the means to switch to decide what camera they're on when they're talking.
Okay.
And all they have to do is hit a button. Same process, you hit record and you hit the space bar to go between one camera and the other.
Okay.
So we have two podcasting rooms. The first one's called The Pod, and that's audio only.
Okay.
And we have people uploading shows to SoundCloud, and I don't do podcasts personally, but wherever you kids upload your shows to, right? Those places. And then we have what's called now the Video Lab. And those are shows that we can actually air on the channel since they have cameras.
Right.
Both those rooms are running off the hook.
Okay.
People love those. They love the ease of them. They're very powerful, and I'll use the word powerful again, a powerful way for people to address their community.
Right.
You know, and at the end of the day, that's really what we do here. We give the common person, me, you, anybody out there, the ability to address the masses.
Okay.
Thousands of people. You know, most people just sit at home and they complain and, oh, it ought to be this way and people ought to do that. It's like, well, don't complain. Go down there and get in front of the camera and tell hundreds of thousands of people. And so the Video Lab gives them the ability to do that. To go back to, I'm jumping back and forth here, but to go back to the pod, what we have done now is we take their audio podcasts and we upload those to SoundCloud for them.
Okay.
And so we make those available. There's a place on our website that people can listen to those audio podcasts.
All right.
Because there's a lot of great information that's being disseminated just through, you know, audio.
Right.
You know, not to mention you step in front of a camera, you know, and now it's more powerful, but there's a lot of people that want to hear just the audio portion.
Right, right, because there's a lot of people that don't look at TV. And they want to hear what you're saying, like you say on the podcast. It could be about sports, it could be about cooking, it could be about anything.
Right.
You know, and people have a tendency to want to listen to that, you know. And I'm not sure, do you have some of the podcasts where people can call in?
You know what? We don't have podcasts doing that. Well, let's talk about the Video Lab, which is the video podcast. We do have the ability now, people can use Zoom to Zoom people into their video podcast. And so we want to push that out there to everyone that, oh, well, I can interview somebody that lives in Timbuktu about the same issues.
Okay.
And again, it's like you said, it can be about anything you want to.
Exactly.
You know, if you want to highlight your abilities to sing and dance, that's great.
Exactly.
You want to get up there and make public commentary, wonderful. And now you can actually bring somebody into the Video Lab that lives in another country, as far as another country.
Right.
We have had that ability to use Zoom in our studio, which you and other people have used for your shows.
Right.
That's very powerful.
It is.
Because we want to hear what's going on in other communities.
Right.
How are you dealing with this? Oh, you have that in your community? Well, you know what? That starts a movement, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
So-
And I've worked on other people's shows that have done Zoom, and it might be Australia, it might be England, it might be somebody from just anywhere.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, you know, you got that time difference. So, you know, they have to adjust, we have to adjust to be able to, you know, have them on like that. But it's great to be able to, you know, talk to these people.
You know, and you talk about time difference as an example. Well, a couple things. First of all, if the only thing that people need to know how to do that want to be on those shows through Zoom, you just have to know how to use Zoom.
Right.
And I always joke around with those folks and say, look, if you don't know how to use Zoom, just go get your 10-year-old grandkid.
Exactly.
They'll get on there and I'll go, "Whoop, okay, you're on.
Right.
But, you know, our training here at DATV, the workshops, are not really classes, they're workshops, hands-on. They are typically on Wednesdays for studio workshops,
Okay.
Thursdays and Fridays for field production. And they're usually at 6 o'clock at night. But this gets into the time thing. You know, there are a lot of people, because of church and because of work, you know, I can only make it at 9 a.m.
Right.
Those types of things. It's like, okay, what day? We'll rearrange
Right.
to get you in
You
here.
adjust for the people and their time, you know, because some people work.
Well, and absolutely, and have other commitments. So the important thing for us is to get the technology into their hands so they can make a difference.
Right, right.
You know, and it's only because, you know, people said, well, you know, Facebook and YouTube, that's going to kill community television. We look at it as another tool in our belt
Exactly.
to get your message out to the masses. So we embrace those technologies, and the important thing is, give us a show that we can put on the channel.
Right.
It's your product, your content.
Right.
You know, we can air it once if we want to, or if you say, hey, can you run the wheels off of that thing? We will. We'll run it as
Right.
many times.
Right.
And by the way, when can you come in for your workshop? Dale Grow, our volunteer coordinator, has done an amazing job.
Oh, yes, he
He
has.
will bring people in and set up workshops for he and Eric, myself, some of the other folks
Right.
during the day. We just had a couple of folks from Lancaster, Ohio, which is over an hour away. They just joined.
Okay.
And again, it's all about getting the technology into their hands so they can make a difference in their community.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, then let me ask you this. Say there's a church that has the equipment, but they don't know how to use it. They want their services aired on DATV. How do they go about that? Do you all go and help them at their church, or not set it up, do whatever you can to help them to get started?
we do, and that's a great question. And you don't even have to be a member. Honestly, if you say, hey, we're a small church, you know, how can we...
Wait a minute, can you repeat that again? You do not have to be a member.
If somebody
Great,
calls, we don't
great.
turn people away.
Great.
You know, and it's anybody. If you want to learn how to do this, and we think we can help, that's the whole thing. We think we can help. We will come over and spend some time with you, show you some things about your equipment, how to maybe stream it to Facebook, those types of things. We just don't turn people away.
Right.
And we're a small staff, but we got a new executive director last year, Randy Phillips.
And he's a great guy.
You know what? He's been very positive for the organization, and he likes getting his hands in,
Yeah.
get his hands dirty
Right.
too. So he's another person that we can lean on. So we can go out, myself, Dale, or Eric, or he can go out. These folks can go out and teach people out there.
Right.
We just want to make sure that people are getting their messages heard out there. You know, it's not a full-blown workshop, but we will go and make recommendations
Right.
and suggestions and work
So
with
to
them.
help, kind of help them get started,
Yeah.
and then it would also maybe give the people a chance to say, well, maybe I'll go down to DATV and take some of those workshops and things to learn how to do this, you know, which is good. That's what you want.
And what's interesting about that is that we never talked about membership. You have to be a member here. Memberships start at $50 a year. And then when you rejoin in December, it's
Right.
$35.
Right.
Excuse me. Well, you know, what do I get for that? You know, a handshake and thank. No,
You get
everything.
everything.
You get everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we do have different levels to support the Access Center. But if you're a $50 a year member, $35 after you rejoin, you get run of the full facility, but
Yes.
not my office.
Right. Yeah.
Can't come and prop your feet up my office. But that's a great point, though, and I'm glad we talked about that because it's really affordable. Again, we've been doing this for 45 years,
Right.
and so we just try to make it as affordable as possible to everyone.
Right.
So, and the churches are very important to what we do.
Exactly.
And you touched on it. You said, you know, what if they just decide one day, you know what, I do want to put that on the channel. Okay, $50 for the first year, $35 after that, and take your production that you produced at your church with your
Right.
equipment, put it on the channel.
Exactly.
Because I'm telling you, people watch that stuff, they love it. We've gotten calls from other states, and this is a true story, when we haven't put on a certain church program
Okay.
because we're streamed worldwide. And they go, that's our sister station up in Dayton. Well, how come, blah, blah, you know? And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Those are great phone calls to get.
Right.
You
Right.
know, we'll Melissa, again, will go, yeah, something happened, you know, technically. Let me see, I'll put it on at this time on this other day.
Right.
So she works very hard at doing that.
Oh, yes, she does. She really does. And like I say, this is a nice place to be. It's a great place to be, you know, to learn a new craft, learn a craft. You can be retired or you can be in school. And speaking of school, do you go to schools to help them in any kind of way? And what do you do?
Well, we do. You know, Dayton Public Schools has their own channel. They do a very important job over there, and they work closely with the Ponent Center. And some students can apply to, the way I understand it, apply to go to the Ponent Center.
Okay.
But there's a lot of students out there who don't have, you know, that opportunity in front of them. So we do try to reach out to those schools and work with those groups of students because they're very smart and very creative and they're interested. And so, as an example, we're working with Thurgood Marshall now and teaching them how to use cameras and a little video switcher and possibly how to stream and those types of things. That's very important to us. Now, does the channel, do we get any programming out of that? We hope so, because we think that what students, these young folks, have to say is very important.
Exactly.
But that's not the mission, that's not why we go out there. We go out there because they have an interest and they need to learn how to do this.
Right.
Because it's social media. This is not only television, but it's social media. And social media is in your face, 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
Good or bad, it's in your face. So, you know, we do reach out to other schools and we're making, and that's because of Randy Phillips, and we're making a more concerted effort to do that coming up this year.
Okay, because I have talked to young kids, and I said, well, hey, you know, you can come down to DATV, you can start a show, know what it is you want to talk about or what it is you want to do. You know, you can do like praise dance, you can do spoken word, you can teach a cooking class, you know, things like that. Music, sky's the limit. You can bring it down here to DATV and in the studio, or you know, have the cameras, like you say, you could have a camera phone, you know, and do this and bring it down here to edit, and you know, put it on for them to put on DATV, which is great.
Yeah, and what's important about that is, and I'm part of that group too. We tend to dismiss the kids. You're just a dumb kid. You know, you don't have any life experience. Not true.
That's right.
They live in a different world. We always have. I always have when I was a kid, but it's a lot more intense now. I want to hear from those students.
Right.
They can come in here, and by the way, talking about memberships, kids 18 18 and under, we'll just give you your membership.
Okay.
You
So
know.
18 and under, they can
Come on
for
in.
free.
And we want the parents to sign off saying Billy or Mary, they're good.
Okay.
We can do that, and put them in front of a camera and do like a teen rap show
Right.
and talk about the stuff that you're going through in
Exactly.
your day-to-day life.
Being bullied or whatever,
Or, yeah,
just different things.
Anything, no, hey, hey, I'm part of the praise team, and
Right.
wow, what a great,
Right.
program that is.
So now, let's back up a little bit. When you talk about the churches and things, does it cost anything for a church to join, and how many people can join with that church?
That's a great question. So again, individual memberships, anybody can represent a church for $50.
Okay.
Now, what we ask, we have different levels, and we have a Circle of Spirit membership, and that's $250.
Okay.
And what you get for that is that we will put a slide on Dayton Spiritual Television, channel 992 on Spectrum,
Okay.
by the way, and DATV is channel 5, kind of just blew right past that. The DATV is channel 5, Dayton Spiritual is 992. But with a Circle of Spirit membership for $250 a year, we'll put a slide up on the channel promoting your church, when the church services are.
Right.
That runs in between the shows that we have on that channel.
Okay.
That's $250. But that is just a means, and you will get 2, sometimes we throw in 3 memberships.
Okay.
So, which would be like $150 plus all the promotion that we do throughout the year. And so that just, hopefully, and people hopefully look at that and go, you know what, I do want to support them. It's community television.
Right.
Now, the reason we started doing that, and the reason we have a membership structure, is beginning in 2008, we lost about 50% of our funding. We have worked hard as a staff and an organization through our volunteers to, not let that, and we had to make cuts, not let those cuts affect the community.
Okay.
Or affect them as little as possible. So we look at other ways of trying to, reach out and secure more funds.
Right.
And that's one reason we brought Randy Phillips on. That's
Okay.
his expertise.
Randy got a lot of money in his pocket.
Oh, I wish he did. Well, let's just go get him and beat it out of him. But no, he has the knowledge.
Okay.
And that's important.
Yeah.
But that's one reason that we charge for anything. Just, hey, we need something, help us. Because right now what we do is we get our funding through the city of Dayton.
Okay.
And actually I was going to say our contract is up this coming February, but we feel confident that they will renew us.
Right.
But what happens is the city of Dayton gets franchise fees collected from the cable company.
Okay.
Franchise fees are a fee assessed to the cable company for using the public right-of-way. We want to run our cable under the street, through the parks, over the trees, that's a fee that they pay.
Okay.
They pay a fee to the city of Dayton. We, for 45 years, have been lucky enough to get a portion of that fee. And that's sort of the way community television was set up, that, hey, the money that you get for using the public right-of-way,
Okay.
we want used for community television, public access.
Okay.
And so we get a small portion of that. And that's
Okay.
how we're funded.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, now, is there anything else you'd like to add? Because we're getting ready to wrap up.
No, I'll make this quick. This is just a very unique place. Just me sitting here and having the honor to speak with you. And you work very hard here as a volunteer.
Well, thank you.
You have to,
Thank you.
express that, stress that. Come down, take a look around.
Yes.
And you can call, if you're interested, look up DATV on the internet or call 937-223-5311 and say, hey, I saw that crazy guy on DATV talking about it. What's up with that? Come on down, we'll walk you around.
Exactly. You do have open house every now and then. And
We
then,
have
like you said-
orientation.
Yes.
It's the fourth Wednesday each month at 6 o'clock.
Okay, all right. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for being on my show. And as you know, this is called Flowers While You're Living. And you don't want to wait until the person's gone to give them flowers. So what I want to do is give you these flowers.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So
Thank you.
now, you have your flowers while you're living. Okay. And hope you'll come back sometime.
Well, I appreciate you having me. This has been a lot of fun and easy to do. It was easy to do.
Right, you were a little nervous about this. You thought I was going to ask some hard questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of all my shows, I always leave you with this. Don't pray on the problem, pray on the solution. Thank you.
Flowers